Hi, Taurus. Welcome to your tarot reading for April 2026. A couple things I just want to say real quick before we get to the cards. April, and this is just what I was picking up intuitively. I feel like April's going to bring stability for you over confusion and alignment in love. And I feel like some of that is thanks to your ruling planet. I also feel something's opening up, and it may open up slow, but it definitely feels faded and like undeniable type of energy. Um, and I feel like I don't know why I was getting this, but I feel like it's um, pulling up to your house soon. Like it's pulling up to your house soon. I don't know if it means your planetary house. Anyway, so, and I also felt like this is right now kind of energy, and I don't say that very often, but I do feel that. So let's go ahead and get into this reading. Um, I got everything out. I even got my luck, love, and abundance beads on. Mother Mary will open up your reading. The crystal vision will go deeper. I brought the romance angels out in case we talk about love, but I feel like love may be a big component in April and May. We have the major arcanas, and your main spread, I'm going to use the light seers. So, just let Mother Mary open up your reading with her beautiful words of wisdom for Taurus. By the way, all placements and don't even have to be a Taurus. Like, sometimes your spirit guides will just have the perfect message, but under a different sign. But then you'll feel guided to it. And I know a lot of you already know that. Okay. Mother Mary. You got a few. You got a few. All right. Faith. My granddaughter's name. Faith. I have faith in God to heal this situation. Nice. Reminds me of the Hierophant. Signs. Beautiful. One of my favorite messages. Um, Not because the signs are just beginning. Signs are always. But I did feel like you were being guided. Like you're either guided to this reading, and then you're going to be guided further. Um, but I just know what this means. Like there's going to be a lot of signs. I I watch for, notice, and trust the signs that heaven continuously sends. And if you're not sure if it was a sign, ask your guides to send it again. They will. Sobriety. My clear mind is easily able to focus and concentrate. So there could be something with, you know, like you may have like if more than a few glasses of wine one day and there's a sign, but I can't quite pick it up. Um, so, and then we have be strong. I pull myself up and do what needs to be done. Could be, I just have this feeling that there could be something like I may be having an issue with something, but I feel like your guides are saying that you are the answer. Like maybe your action, it's your action that will change a situation, I feel, for the better. And for some, I get this sense there could be worry. Yet, again, I feel like I have my own solution. Interesting. Well, I guess, that's the kind of energy you know when you know. You know when you know. But I feel like sobriety, just think about that. Because it does feel in some way, and sobriety doesn't necessarily have to be like alcohol. Um, my mind just may be filled with maybe worry, that type of thing. So, anyways, that clear, quiet mind can pick up on the signs easier. Doesn't mean you can't pick them up in chaos. You can. Okay. All right. So I am going to put these away, but we're going to keep them in the upright. All right. Let's bring in the major arcanas, which for anyone who's new, I really use these as bullet points. But they do tell their own little story, and sometimes it's very deep. Dot. Oh, okay. It's like your cards were ready. Death card. Card Scorpio. Interesting, your opposite sign. Probably the sign I'll do next. But Death card talks about transformation, endings. One door may be time to close, but that means another door is ready to open, and that could be again what signs is. It's got a sickle. It's almost like cutting away the weeds. It's funny. I see some of you like my yard is overgrown, and it's almost like I need a sickle to clean it, to cut it. Um, and I have a feeling that was some of Spirit Guide's message, just to let you know that they're here. Okay, interesting. The moon, temperance, divine timing. But something is telling me with the death card as the first card, this isn't about what lies way out there. This feels like what's now. It feels like this is divine timing. And the moon, maybe it may be one of those, maybe where it's getting slow, but deliberate. Um, so maybe the moon is saying this is something that's not meant to move, like super quick. But there feels like a reason. I feel like so I can enjoy and appreciate each moment of it. Hmm. So temperance, fine timing is over there, or was, busy, doing something, something in your favor. Um, and she does have 2 cups. She is mixing the loving waters of soulmates. So for some of you, that could certainly apply. The moon, by the way, part of Pisces, ruler of Cancer, and the full moon this month it's a pink moon in Libra. And then I think the new moon is in Aries, but I could be wrong. I could be wrong on that. Okay. Scorpio, Cancer, Pisces, Sagittarius, if you have to have a sign. And Mother Mary, I have faith to heal this situation. I feel like it has something with, it has to do with transformation, the signs, even though the moon, right, I can only see as far as the moonlight, the signs are going to guide me. Try to keep a clear mind. And I feel like follow the signs. Follow the signs. Almost like breadcrumbs. Follow the signs home. All right. Excuse me. Well, wow. Right off the bat, the marriage card. God, is it ending or is it just beginning? Or is it a little both? Interesting. The Hierophant next to that. Well, that's faith. That's exactly what Mother Mary said. It is a card of it is your major arcana. And it is 5. So you want to think about that, like as a Taurus, what represents me, not just the Hierophant, but also the number 5, which is change. But it can be graceful change. Doesn't have to be like kicking and screaming type of change, but as an earth sign where I'd rather have my feet on the ground, I feel like there's a mixture of both. I don't know why I'm talking about that. Like the stairway to heaven. You may be guided from heaven, someone from heaven. Some could have lost. Interesting. I was just going to say, and I don't feel like this is for everyone, but I feel like it's for a few. You may have lost your partner, whether it be like a husband, a wife, you know, I would call a partner. Um, but yet their essence is still there. Like they're still with you. And because I do feel like, I mean, look at the 9 of Cups in reverse. There's not inner harmony here, right? This person's not feeling happy. They're not feeling fulfilled. They may have given up on dreams, like dreams. Those are for kids. Not really. The moon could be part of it. The moon, the full moon, may also help lighten the energy for you. Interesting. And I don't know that much about astrology. Um, but when sometimes I just feel it. That makes sense. So what I'm saying is I feel like the full moon is going to have a good effect on you. And, it may bring, or you may be going through a period of time where it's like, it's that push and pull type of energy, like, I just know, like, if I continue with this or them, then will it not all remain the same? And if I want better, do I need to be better? Do I need to do better? And I don't mean that in a judgmental way. I mean that in there's dreams I have. Am I being proactive? Because again, those signs, I feel like they're for really, it's going to be something that you feel called to. Let's say it's a new business that some of you may say, like, well, that'll never happen. Well, who thought I'd ever be doing this? You know what I mean? Like the first half of my life, it was nothing like this. And the second half of my life, completely different. So you just don't know until you know. But for some reason, again, I feel like it could be energy, almost like a video that's put in front of you, subject, something that just piques your interest and you want to know more and more. Follow that. Could even be with a new person. Like there's something that piques my interest. That would be bold. You'd have to be bold. And I really don't feel bold energy here. Hmm. I also want to say, I feel like for a few, you may have just quit drinking. You may just have quit something that, was affecting you. Like this was a choice that you made. I feel like it was probably the right one. Um, Mainly because I feel like if I really want something, then I know maybe I have to sacrifice something. Maybe it's my liquid courage. I don't know. Let's keep going. Some of you may be in a current relationship and you may not be happy. The change, especially that type of change, can be overwhelming. You know what I mean? But I feel like if you make the decision to make that change, again, like your guides, and I feel like for some particular guide, not, I shouldn't say for some, because really all of you, I feel like, certain guides step forward for certain um, adventures that are about to enter. Like one may be like love, that is my area. And the other's like finances, that's me. The King of Wands. Can be Gemini or Gemini. Um, could be. Now that I said it. But could be Aries, Leo, Sagittarius. This king is the king of action in the upright. Um, hmm, that might be the advice right there. What I love here is if you look behind this king, for those who are on the podcast, let me kind of explain it. Um, this lion behind him, to me, that's a symbol. It's a symbol of what this king has overcome. And it's interesting, he's right next to the reversal of the Nine of Cups. And I don't know why I keep picking this up, but it may be this person. Like, I quit drinking. I overcame. We'll see. He's under temperance. Well, okay. We have, interesting, the Five of Swords. And then, hello, lovers. So I did say Gemini. That's interesting. This is a card of Gemini. And the meaning of this is a head over heart decision. It's under the Four of Wands. I do feel like some of you are in that energy right now. Do you end something or do you continue? I feel like for some, this king, which can be a queen, um, just means someone is more in their masculine type energy. They're not in their lovey-dovey energy. But again, this king may have overcome something. And let's say you're in a relationship with this person, it may have been a must. You know what I mean? Like, I can't take that. I can't take that part. I just can't. Because the Five of Swords, it's almost like, well, it's toxic energy that has tainted the Four of Wands, which is really a beautiful love card. And even the Lovers underneath that. Feels like, honestly, it feels like something that can be saved. But I feel like someone's actions, and it may be you or it may be them, someone's actions, someone had to change something. And I do feel like it was about themselves, but affected what should be a happy home over here. The lovers. What's interesting about the lovers is there's a lot of chemistry in the lovers. And when you think about that, there's always polar opposites. So they may love hard, but they may also fight hard. And there's really no judgment on that. It just may be who they are. You know what I mean? Like, we love hard, we play hard, but we fight hard. And it's passion that's, when we fight, it's just misdirected. But I feel that. Okay. Interesting. The Queen of Wands. Right into you. She's looking right there at the lovers. And just look at her energy. She's rising above. It's interesting. She's under, again, your major arcana, but the Hierophant, faith. It definitely feels like, it's her faith that's allowing her to rise above. And, she's just in a Zen state. She's pointing right over to the lovers. Here's the king, here's the queen. And it doesn't even matter the sign, it's just like minded. Okay, keep going. And I feel like there's some is like, when is it going to be my time? I feel like there's a sense that I have to analyze something because it's not that you are being punished. You know what I mean? Like everyone else gets it, but you don't. No, there's something that like one thing doesn't fit with the other. Like I want high vibrational love, but I myself am not even close to be able to give it. Well, that tells me then there needs to be some time for reflection and healing instead of like shutting the heart down. Um, but the good news in all that is you carry a lot more power than you think. Hmm. Okay. I feel like there's messages within the messages today. Page of Swords. Look at that. She's like reading that book. And look at all the light bulbs, epiphanies, ideas. She's like walking this tightrope, right? But with no issue. It's almost like I've walked this tightrope before. And, it's like It's that song, like, I can dun 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 dun. I can bring home the bacon. It's a woman's anthem, kinda. I can, but anyway. So it looks like she's used to juggling. And it's almost like she is juggling. And listen, for some of you, maybe you're going back to school. Maybe you're in school. Or maybe this is something you went to school for. But honestly, I feel for many, this is something new. And I feel like these light bulbs that you see, they're epiphanies, they're ideas, they're new directions. You know what I mean? And I like it because I feel like exactly like it was meant to happen. In this tightrope where many would fall off, it's like I've done it a million times. It kind of feels like your higher self. We've done this a million times. And get across that tightrope, no problem. Interesting. If I can pick it up. So we go from the Page of Swords to the Queen of Swords. And how interesting, because I feel like this queen is reflecting back to a time where she had all these ideas. And this could be a new story, but I feel that. I feel like this queen, her sword is down, she's calm, she's just reflecting, but she's looking out into the world like all is possible, but she's remembering like these, like an idea from a time gone past. And can I? Should I? I feel like she wasn't happy. I don't feel like she was miserable, but I feel like she was ready for change. And boy, I feel like this is where our guides come in because it's almost like your guides, again, putting, maybe not making you, but like all of a sudden you start reflecting back on a time, or ideas. Know that your guides, I mean, it's your guides reminding you of your ideas, and what you can do. She's definitely thinking about it. By the way, in a reading, for anyone who's new, those who've been with me probably know the way I read now. Um, I really feel like you're all people, unless I'm just feeling differently. Like for the King of Wands, if like you just quit drinking or something, that's probably you. Um, but right now, I feel a lot of you are the Queen of Swords, whether, and I feel like the Queen of Swords and the Queen of Wands are the same person. I hope I just didn't make it more confusing. But I also feel the Page of Swords and the Queen of Swords are the same. And this is what makes the Empress, is the experience of all these energies. All right. Tell you one thing, the Queen of Swords is not going to miss the sign because she just feels like she's in the right state of mind. Even the Queen of Wands, right? She's like in this Zen position. Her hand is open towards the lovers. almost like inviting the lovers in. So it's like two sides, right? This one, my thoughts, my ideas, what I can do. This one, more focused on love. And, you know, because she's in a Zen state, if that's why I really don't feel a breakup. But I guess you could ask yourself for some, if there's someone you might have been hanging on to who was unwilling to do whatever needed to be done to be together. Because if that's the case, you got to know you deserve better. Like, your person, I feel like would fight for you, but not fight. So maybe. I mean, I don't feel, I don't feel anyone in that state of wanting to beat someone else up, but I do feel that, like your person, your lover, your soulmate. Not that they're perfect, not that you're perfect. No one is, but unless the death card is Scorpio for you, then it is about a door closing, but a new door opening. Okay. High Priestess. So nice. Oh, I just got goosebumps. So the Queen of Swords is listening to her intuition, her higher self. Interesting. I just released a podcast yesterday about the High Priestess, but I did it in a story form. I don't know why. I prefer to do it that way. And then Six of Wands, nice. Victory and success. Let me just say, Taurus, or who's ever listening, you have ideas. There's directions you want to go. And if anything's been holding you back, but you have control over that, this feels like an opportunity. Like this feels like your time. Your time. The spotlight's meant to be on you. This means you have the ability to create success, to be successful. And what I love about the Six of Wands is she's on a stage and you just imagine everyone's applauding for her. Why? Some type of action that she now maybe speaks about. Interesting. Like a TED Talk. This could have been like all of a sudden I'm feeling like questions and answers. Like, how did you get to where you are? And I have a feeling she would say, read my book. So some of you, it's about writing a book. Because I feel like the answer is in the book. Interesting. I'm going to put this right here. And I want to look at the bottom of the deck, the moon again. What do they call that when there's a double full moon? A blue moon? That was my handle. Blue moon. Some of you are like, what? But when I was a young teenager, probably 13, my dad had a CB radio in his car. And when you get home from work, me and my girlfriends would go in the car and talk on the CB. And my handle was called Blue Moon. And then I remember one night, my dad came out and he's like, what are you guys doing in my car? And we're like, we're talking on the CB. And he was like, get out of the car. And then he's like, "Do you know what kind of men are on?" He's like, "Here you are, young women, and you're on talking to these truckers." Sorry, I don't know why I just brought that up. Anyway, double moon, Knight of Swords underneath that. Interesting. Potential communication of some form. I feel like if I'm calling in a lover, I need to do it from a calm state. You know, that's what would give me, like, if I'm like calling in a soulmate. Remember Temperance. She is mixing the love waters of the soulmates. Her first message is patience, but yet the death card gives me the sense of timing is now. But you need to trust your intuition, going back to, again, Mother Mary, the signs, because the Five of Swords is above your intuition. But the Six of Wands tells me there's nothing you can't overcome here. It just feels more like making decisions and then following that. Like, again, Mother Mary, be strong, pull yourself up, do what needs to be done. And, who knows, maybe just start seeing like what feels like miracles. But again, the power you had in it is pretty amazing in its own. Okay. I feel like there may be and this is probably just for a couple, but I feel like back in the day, I may have been with someone and our focus, our goals were different at that time. Like, one just wanted to continue partying. I do feel like it's back. So, like, at that time, like, I think like my older teens, young 20s is when probably when I did more drinking than ever. Um, and some. But anyway, why am I saying that? Oh, because I feel like there was just two different directions. And because I get this sense that this queen, like this, like she has taken this direction or made a choice back then and knew it wasn't going to be easy, but was willing to do it anyway. And then I feel like, and then maybe the king was like, but I wasn't done with my party days. So they just feel like they were on, wasn't it's divine timing. Look at that. They're right under divine timing. Look at that. Just wasn't, it wasn't the time. Oh, excuse me one second. Sorry, I was only gone for a second. It's funny, Sam just got home from an appointment and came in to tell me what happened, and then he glanced down. He just glanced down, and I said, "What do you see when you look down?" I'm like, "What story do you see?" And he's like, looks like a resurrection of love or a relationship. And he just looked for a second. And he said, "Am I right?" And I said, "You're right." But I like how he said it, the resurrection of love. All right, let's go ahead and bring the crystal vision. And I don't know if I cut it. So let's go ahead and do that. And let's go deeper. Oh, Just saw the Ace of Cups on the bottom of the deck. I might flip that Nine of Cups around. Though for some, I don't feel like that Nine of Cups in reverse is a bad thing. Okay. Wow. Look at that. The Knight of Pentacles, who I often feel is your guardian angel. This night. This night moves slowly. And it's interesting because with the Death card, you know, something has come to an end, but something new is beginning. Temperance, patience. This also asks for patience, but this Knight of Pentacles tells you that I come at the right time. When the timing is right, I show. It reminds me of like what's her name? Nanny McPhee? I don't know why I'm thinking of that, but like when you need me, I must come. When you no longer need me, I must go. Something like that. Anyway, so the Knight of Pentacles, I come at the right time, right over the Four of Wands. Interesting. And then we have the Queen of Pentacles over the Hierophant. And I call her my psychic detective. And it literally looks like in the Hierophant's energy, you're connecting to above. It's like this is the queen that will pick it up. Interesting. Like this is the queen that would pick up whatever seed this night brings. It's almost like through her faith, but also her intuition. Queen of Swords is the one who's going to reflect upon it, decide which direction to take it, and the Queen of Wands would be the action behind it, and it all ends in victory. Wow. The Chariot. Movement. Movement. The Chariot is the balance of the feminine and the masculine. We have the moon twice, double feminine energy. What else I was going to say? Oh, it's also the light and the shadow. We have the moon again twice. We can call that shadow. This could be like a double blessing. Like all of a sudden, I feel that even though the Nine of Cups is in reverse, for one or for some, I feel like it's a reward. Like it's I had a boy or I had a girl kind of energy, but coming from above. And it's like now, it's almost like what Mother Mary said about sobriety, that clear mind. And now, like the night is saying, you can take this seed that I'm about to give you. You can love it, nurture it, tend to it, give it the time it needs to grow. And that may be the slow again, like giving it the time it needs to grow. And when it's ready, it breaks ground. It's like you wouldn't pull a root out before it's flowered. Maybe a weed. Anyway, the chariot really feels positive. And, I want to remind you that the chariot really is moved by your intentions. And I love the energy that, like all these epiphanies. I feel like those are like you get the idea, you put the intention out there, you close what doors need to close. The Knight of Pentacles is like, well, this is the right time. Temperance is saying this is the right time. The chariot is the way, and again, the chariot coming connected to the moon. I don't know, just like even though the chariot is unlimited potential, again, it's like each thing, each step has magic in it. But I definitely feel the feminine and masculine have come into harmony here. The Seven of Cups. I feel like this king has a realization that the decisions I was making in my life were coming from like a chaotic energy, a chaotic within them, a chaotic energy, well, maybe around them too. Um, but I get the sense that this king feels like, man, I made some mistakes. I made some mistakes. I know it. I feel like energy, they're claiming it. You know what I mean? Like they're claiming it. And therefore, they make better choices. And that's another reason why the chariot's like unlimited, because now they're making choices with their clear mind. Temperance, mixing that loving water of soulmates. But sometimes if one's not ready, right? If one's energy could potentially come in and hurt the other, then that's not really divine timing unless you're karmic, unless it's a karmic soulmate, right? Then it's like it can be a difficult lesson. But lesson it's a lesson your soul wants and needs to learn. 77. I must get that a lot because I'm about to say that was a good year. I remember that year was a good year. I just started bartending and everyone thought I was 18. And then my 18th birthday, finally everybody figured out except for the owner. On my 18th birthday, they had a party for me and the cake had said, Happy 18th. And the owner came in, was invited. But we never thought about like the age on the cake. He's like, why does this say 18? And the trouble I could have got him into. I wasn't thinking with a clear mind. The King of Cups. Interesting. Temperance. Look at this right over the lovers and right over the Six of Wands. Wow. Double Sagittarius, by the way. And the High Priestess again over the Queen of Wands. And right into you. Some of you, the podcast I did was like minutes. And for some of you, there could be a message in there because it was kind of a story I was feeling. Anyway, and I do feel like I get this a lot where I get this sense where temperance may have, like, or divine, whatever you want to say, it just may not have been the right time for what this is about to be. Because I feel like the success of you, for many of you, and some of you don't, you haven't even met, you haven't even come across that thing that's going to inspire you. But baby, it's going to inspire you. Like you're going to feel it in your soul. And I feel like you follow it. Some of you already have, and you may be the one who is like reaching success right now. If you came with the question, can I be successful? The answer is yes, yes, yes. Step by step. Enjoy every moment. And as it comes to love, like I love temperance over the lovers because you kind of want temperance in your love life. You're right. You want divine timing. And now there seems like there's more alignment than anything. King of Cups mirroring the Knight of Pentacles. Has anything to do with love? That's a king I'd want to see. I feel like this wants you to follow your intuition, not just in love, but in everything, especially in, you claiming success, whatever that may mean for you. Let's just put it that way. But also knowing that you deserve this success. Like you got to know that about yourself. And even if it took 10 years, 20 years, it feels like, well, this feels like the right time. Ten of Wands. I get the sense again of the Queen where I feel like, I made that decision to go to school and it wasn't easy. Maybe it was hard because I feel like I didn't love it, but I feel like they learned. They learned. And I get the sense also of because of that, but not just because of those who went to school, because I feel like it's also for those who like followed these epiphanies, like wrote that book, or even if like maybe you get that epiphany in the reading, like, I've been wanting to write a book. This is your sign. Write that book. But you may find it easier to write than ever. What was hard, it feels like the chariot lifts. And it may have something to do with the pink moon. I feel like your hard work just throughout your life has not gone unnoticed, you know. And even if no one here on earth tells you that, your guides are saying like each thing has been like we notice it, we see it, we feel it. We're proud of you. Okay. So I feel like this burden is being lifted or has already lifted. Look at that. And there is our Empress. And I feel like all of this has been leading really to the end. I just got goosebumps. But it all feels like it's been leading to the Empress's energy. That may be why we keep seeing the moon, the feminine energy. This may be calling for our feminine energy, male or female. Empress. And look how an apple's about to fall from the tree and hit her in the head. An epiphany. The Empress would know that. Ah, another sign. I wonder where this is going to go. Falling right over the Queen of Swords, where she's in like this peaceful, not even reflection. I don't feel she's looking back. She's kind of sitting in the moment, but I feel like she's daydreaming about the future, but it's connected to her intuition. Both queens, all the queens, nice, have the high priestess connected to them, nice. I just realized that. So the Empress. Perfect energy to come out, not just for love, but for growth. So, the star. Your hopes, your dreams, your wishes. Connected to temperance or mirroring temperance and over your intuition. You know, it's interesting is the star and the Empress are really mirroring temperance, and the star is mirroring temperance. It is literally like it's saying, when you know that you are the Empress, that you carry that energy, you carry the wisdom of all these queens. And, you know, you have to believe, you have to keep the faith alive that these dreams, both, you know, this feels like both love and money. Because for some, it feels like new paths that open up due to epiphanies. Like you take this idea, next thing you know, you have a business. Or you're adding it to something that you already have, you know, like, you know, like I did with numerology. I feel like whatever your wishes are, some it may be that King of Cups. And again, I feel like temperance in a way, you know, it's like, I don't know if it's the right word to use, but I feel like may have protected the other soulmate, um, because the other soulmate wasn't ready, was, you know, not in harmony within themselves, and therefore they wouldn't have been in harmony with you. Doesn't mean they wouldn't have loved you. It means the issues would have outweighed everything else, and that could have already happened for some, and one made like some real choices and decisions in their life, and they have changed. And I know that's not going to be for everyone. You know, you gotta check it out. Like, okay, so you say you quit drinking. That's good. That's cool. But you know, the Empress, she's in no hurry. You know, she's the one who will take that idea, that seed, nurture it, allow it to grow, and knows the perfect time to then bring that seed to the world, right? To give birth to that idea. All right, I think I'm going to go below also. So let's I really don't want to move the whole deck. Okay. Something is telling me to go below, so let's do it. I mean, look at the divine energy you have over here. The Knight of Pentacles, guardian angel who comes, that has this promise of something and comes at exactly the right time, which means you'll be at the right place at the right time. Boy, I've been picking that up a lot lately. Like, and this may again have a little bit of planetary action behind it. There's something going on with your ruling planet, and I feel like it's a benefit to you. Anyway, temperance, divine timing over the lovers. Not just the lovers. Interesting. I just realized she's over the Six of Wands, six, right? Victory and success. And she's over the lovers, six. Head over heart, yes. But I feel it's more about the chemistry. And, it may be also a head over heart. Like you may have to make a decision here. Gee, hello, Ten of Cups. Wow. Wow. I mean, love, harmony. That Nine of Cups, I have a feeling the Ace of Cups came, or at least the belief in it, that it can or that they can, because both had to have this belief. This is the house of harmony, house of love, the lovers. That means there's passion in this house. The Eight of Cups. I feel like this has nothing to do with the Eight or the Ten of Cups and everything to do with the Death card because it's mirroring the Death card. Eight of Cups. She is walking away, walking away from something emotional, but she's giving herself a new beginning. And she is heading towards the Nine of Cups. She's in the upright, so she has emotional clarity. And by the way, I feel like you can't be the Empress and not have emotional clarity, which means you have to also know yourself in love. And it's not about analyzing every cup. Some cups were just free will, you know what I mean? Just like at the moment, probably didn't have a chance. We probably got a red flag. You know what I mean? But we did it anyway. I mean, story of my young life. But anyway, this is someone who knows that now. She's giving herself a new beginning. She's closing a door. And it can just be an energetic door. It doesn't have to be like a literal door. Or even like she's closing, she's allowing transformation to happen. And the eight is a new beginning. But it's also the number of infinity. And I definitely get that in your reading. Like, this isn't our first time. Even what some of you are doing, like the things you're being guided towards, not the first time your soul's done it. And that may be why you're either already so good at it or you will be. Eight of Cups, it feels like me taking a chance on me. I don't really feel like she's thinking about anything else about than going to take a chance on me. Temperance is like, I got the love. I got it. I got it in divine timing. Knight of Pentacles is like, trust me, I'll make sure it comes in just at the right time. Not before and not after. And this gives you time, right, to look at oneself like, what have I been putting off that I know I want to do? Did I want to write that book? And now, like, if your intuition is calling you towards it, and it is calling you towards your dreams, I feel like whatever you do now flows, where before there could have been like challenges. Okay. But again, I feel like this a lot of this has to do with you and you letting go. You allowing yourself not to carry the weight. Like, I'll carry my own weight. Whoa, that was wild. That was a little extreme. But they must really want to be seen. So let's see them. All right, they're all in reverse. I'm going to turn them around. Hello, Ace of Cups. Hello, Ace of Cups. Interesting, I said I felt like that Nine of Cups in reverse, if this person gets that ace. There it is. There's the 10. The King of Pentacles. So now we have our matching Queen of Pentacles energy. And then Two of Wands. And so it begins. And, I love that it's representing the wands. Number one, it does mean your action is required, but it also tells you, like, what pulls you down this path is your own inspiration, is passion, adventure. You know what I mean? Like, this is not a boring path. And maybe that's why I feel like I'm not meant to, like, rush it. And then that Queen of Wands. So the Queen of Wands again. I definitely feel as it relates to love, the Empress is very clear about, if she's a single, let's say a single mom or a single dad, or just single, I still feel like she's very clear about, what love, like, I don't feel like it's like what love must look like, but how it must be. And I feel like grounded, right? Like I've been in the energy of chaos and uncertainty and all that. And I just I'm not going to do that again. Not that she can't, she doesn't want to. She's almost claiming, like, if someone wants to be with me, she's trusting because she knows, like, the higher her vibration, the higher that manifests in. I love the Empress next to the star because, again, the Empress will nurture each and every one of those dreams and can make them come true. Ace of Cups, the Ten of Cups. What came in between it? The Eight of Cups, emotional clarity. Maybe closing of a door. Ace of Cups connected to the moon. It's kind of beautiful because that's dreamy energy. It's very dreamy. And, I just want to also say I feel for some of you, you may have been alone for a while. Like, I've been doing it all alone for a long time. And, sometimes we can become, not that I really feel this, but so independent that, you know, adding this Ace of Cups is like, I don't know. I can say this. This has nothing to do with like you then stopping what you're doing, because I feel like what you're doing, what you feel guided towards, is just as important. Okay. Let's go ahead and use the romance angels and let's let it be. It's interesting the Queen of Wands comes out with the Two of Wands. Like one more queen, and who comes out? The one who feels very comfortable in the Two of Wands path. The Queen of Adventure. This is a queen who, I always get this saying wrong, um, but does it and then asks for, um, what's the word? I really shut my mind down when I'm doing a reading. So when I go to try to think of something, it's like I have to reconnect. All right, passion. Allow your heart and soul sing with joy. Passion. Allow your heart and soul to sing with joy. That's good news. That's the lovers, That's passion. And, I feel like let's not forget the word allow, because that feels important. This could be the one. Interesting. You already met the romantic partner you seek. I felt that for a lot in this reading, quite a bit. So, some of you, this is like, just like Sam looked at a reading, it's like the rebirth of, could be from a past life. But listen, if there's anything from this reading, I feel like it's you first. Do you, be you, go after things. Like this feels like the time. And I feel like Divine's got the rest. Knight of Pentacles, like, I promise you, I'll come at the right time. You'll be at the right place at the right time, without doubt. In a way, two people in different timelines, just in different places or different spaces. But the potential of that coming back around. Past lives, for sure. You wouldn't have all this divine energy and not talk about that. The chariot, feminine and the masculine are in alignment. So I feel like that's the ultimate. But the power you carry is like so important. So important. All right. I think I'm gonna let that be. Um, I feel like there were a lot of personal messages in here, like messages within messages. Um, and you kind of need your spiritual ears on to really hear them, or like like really be in your intuition. Not what I want to hear, but what I need to hear. um, but anyways, just, I see the beauty here. I see the beauty, and I feel like it's just, maybe it's as soon as that door closes. But in a way, like, close it by the full moon, if you can. Okay. Anyway, I'm still talking. I love you. Thank you. I'll see you next time at our table. Oh, happy birthday, by the way. Did I forget to say that? Happy birthday. Um, I'll see you next time. Like, how am I going to name your reading? The beauty of this reading, like, how do I put that in a title? The conundrum of pulling all this into a few words. Anyway, I love you guys. I'll see you next time at our table. Bye bye. We'll stop talking. Bye bye.